This is Rosalie Crom starting my Super People series, a compilation of interviews of people I think are smart, they know what they're doing, and they can affect the lives of people around us. Today we're starting with Justin R. French, social network expert. Justin, I met you via Twitter probably 4 months ago, and you have changed my Twitter life. I follow you, and the information that you send out has been educational and inspirational. I'm trying to think, though, how did we actually...
Well, thank you, Rosalie. It's good to be here. I'm humbled to be here. Yeah, pretty much how me and Rosalie met was on Twitter. We were exchanging some tweets, and I just happened to find out that Rosalie was a soccer player and a big soccer fan. So the way social media works is you connect on some type of common interest, when you're networking online, and that was kind of our common interest, would you say? And then at that point, because my educational nature in helping business people and professionals understand this new transition with social networking and social media, we got to talking, and we said, hey, we need to start, doing some type of shows or programs or giving some value to the community. So that's why we're on camera today, and I'm really excited to be here, and thank you again, and I'm really humbled to be here.
Well, I'm super excited, but I'd like to start at the beginning. You say you come from a technical background. I think you're Cisco and Microsoft certified, correct?
Correct, yeah.
So all of a sudden social networking caught your attention. Why?
Well, I ran an IT consulting business for about 8 years, and I grew that to, about 7 employees, 7 people involved. And, over the years, the IT consulting business for the small business arena started actually going down. Mm-hmm. And, we were kind of in steady decline. So me being a business guy, a business professional, and understanding trends, I actually saw social networking and social media as kind of the next big thing. And I identified this probably last year. And so I started doing my research, and then I actually formed a new company, Social Networking San Diego.
What's it called again?
It's called, our incorporation name is called Global E-Marketing Solutions, Inc. And we have a DBA called Social Networking San Diego.
Got it.
And the reason why we chose that name, Social Networking San Diego, is because social networking is a big word for the search engine.
Right.
And then when you attach San Diego to it, that's a really good search term for Google. So that's kind of why that's my tech kicking in a little bit there. So that's kind of why we chose that.
You understand search engines. You understand people are looking at, what's the number one search engine right now in the world?
It is Google, definitely Google. And the way their algorithm has been developed, it's definitely ahead of its time, ahead of the competition.
And what's number 2 and number 3? I'm just curious.
Yeah, the second most used search engine I would have to guess is YouTube. And that's because video is actually accounts for 52% of all internet traffic is 52%. Video related. Yes, 52%. So that's the power of video. And this is growing on demand. As we know, we can watch video now from our cell phones, etc. So, believe it or not, that's the...
And I know we're getting a little off topic, but I'm curious, why do you think that 52% of the people are going to YouTube as a search engine? What are they trying to get out of it? Is it just a bunch of songs and music, or what's drawing them?
Well, YouTube is, it's entertaining. For a lot of people, they want to see funny cat videos and they want to laugh a little bit. But believe it or not, YouTube is actually an educational resource for business professionals. So I can actually watch special keynotes from CEOs or conferences that I didn't happen to attend. Now I can actually, watch the video and get versed on all the topics and all the principles that they teach. So believe it or not, I've been watching these business videos on YouTube for about 5 years now. And so it's really given me, I don't want to say a PhD in a sense, but it's really given me a strong educational addition to my education.
So basically, if you're interested in a particular topic, you'll type in the keywords, and you'll get, let's say, 10 hits. And you're saying you can go and watch a CEO, like particularly, let's say Zappos, the guy that had Zappos, which is an amazing thinker. You can watch him as a keynote speaker where people spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars to be in that audience.
Exactly correct. Exactly
I
correct.
had no idea.
Yeah, it's very valuable, and like I said, this stuff is free. So especially during these tough economic times, business professionals want to save money. So now they don't have to travel to the Europe conference, or they don't have to spend on airfare and travel and additional expenses. They can actually just log into their computer, go to YouTube, and view these keynotes there.
And if a keynote is particularly interesting, you can watch that one, and the next one you don't like it, 1 minute later you're off.
Exactly.
Go to the next person.
Exactly.
Excellent.
Very powerful.
Okay.
And video is very powerful because a lot of people learn differently. Like some people might like video, they might learn a lot from video, or they might learn more from a podcast, right? Audio, right? Or they might want to read the written word. What is their best learning tactics? And you need to ask yourself that question.
Okay, my mind is whirring around. Now I want to ask some questions about what I'm interested in as attorneys.
Okay.
Attorneys are my client base, and I'm looking for a way to help them with getting more business, being more effective in their business, reaching people. They are a service sector. They're not selling a product online. So how have other service sector businesses utilized social networking effectively?
Well, I'll start with LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is just a social network for business professionals to exchange ideas, develop new business, and really as a business development tool. So what LinkedIn has enabled not only the legal profession but other service-based businesses is to develop relationships on LinkedIn, and then over time, you can meet prospects, you can meet potential new clients, you can create strategic alliances, and you can actually meet new vendors through LinkedIn.
And I understand the concept. I also hear people tell me that they think LinkedIn is a waste of time, that they get these emails and it's always bothering them. I would argue that I'd hope you'd want to know who the people you're working with, how they're doing, if they're being promoted. And you mentioned the fact that I know LinkedIn has groups and forums. How does that work?
Yeah, well, the main thing as an observation that's been made, I'm sure you've made this observation as well, is LinkedIn. A lot of people are on LinkedIn. They have millions of users, millions of people have profiles set up, but how many people are actually networking?
Exactly.
It's not net sit, it's not net eat, it's network. And that's an old BNI term I use because I've always gone to these used to go to these BNI meetings.
BNI?
Business Networking International,
Okay.
I think, or something like that.
So they're net lurking,
Yeah.
not participating.
Exactly. It's all about engage, and that's really important. You touched on something, engaging. That's what social media and social networking is about. If you don't have time as a legal professional to get onto discussions about, business law or family law and demonstrate your expertise to the network, to the community, then you're not going to be getting anything out of that group. So you really have to set yourself apart, and people want to know what sets you apart as a business lawyer or as a family law attorney. What sets you apart? And you have to demonstrate that and build up your authority. It's just like I relate it to celebrities, right? Celebrities don't just, overnight they're not a celebrity, right? I mean, it takes them years to build up that credibility and that persona, if you will. And so that same thing applies for attorneys. They really need to get out there and engage and interact on these discussion groups, answer questions, and provide some free consulting. I know lawyers don't like the word free, but that's what it's going to take nowadays to get you new business.
And you mentioned LinkedIn. Would you ever think an attorney can use Twitter?
Yeah, Twitter. I definitely think lawyers can use Twitter, and they have to figure out how to best use it. But the number one use of Twitter is for news, is real-time news. So if you're an attorney and you're a business lawyer or a family attorney, family law attorney, you can actually read news from your friends on Twitter that are talking about family law, business law, etc. So Twitter is a news resource, and it's tailored to things that you're interested in. For example, when we read the newspaper now, 90% of it is stuff that I'm not interested in, right? But now if I go to Twitter and I connect with people that are in the same industry, or if I connect to news stations that I'm interested in, that I want to hear about this type of news, now I have that news real time. So that eliminates a lot of our research time, right? Finding these news sources online. So Twitter is a news resource first and foremost. The second thing Twitter is used for is its headlines. Okay, as busy professionals, as busy attorneys and lawyers and executives here, we have become a society that is inundated with information. And so if I can go onto Twitter and I can read my headlines, right? And if it's something I want to find out more, it's usually a link at the end of Twitter, right? You just click on that link and then it takes you to a blog post, right? Mm-hmm. Or it takes you to a video, or it takes you to wherever it's going to take you. But obviously you clicked on that link for a reason. And that's why, having the proper communication and the proper headline is very important when you're marketing.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So
it's got to be an attention grabber.
Yes, you have to, you have to have a call to action in your messaging, in your marketing message. So, like, for example, a good tip for a lawyer to use if they're trying to get onto Twitter and they want to market their blog to the right audience, they might say, here are the 10 most frequently asked questions I get about business law. And then you provide them a link to your blog, and that's doing three things. Number one, it's providing information to the community. Number two, it's marketing your business. And number three, it's kind of a PR tool as well. So Twitter can be used in so many ways, and it's still so new. So that just kind of does that give you an idea?
Yes, and I would just ask for advice from attorneys. Do you believe they should protect their tweets, or do you think that it should be open to whomever wants to follow?
Well, that becomes a personal decision. I feel that everyone has their own personal preference on how much information they expose, so that's really a personal issue. Me personally, I'm 90% transparent. I don't want people knowing every single thing I do, right? But part of my business strategy of embracing social media is being transparent and being, fully transparent and just letting people know.
And you're very conscious, things. Obviously, of what you're tweeting.
Yeah, you have to be,
And
that's where I think there's a lot of educated people on Twitter. Some people might already be on Twitter and see the business value. Some people might not be on Twitter, but Twitter there's a lot of, I learned more on Twitter in 2 months than I've probably learned in school in 2 years. And that's a powerful statement. And it's because the way Twitter works, for sharing information that I'm interested in. And there's a lot of amazing people on Twitter. Amazing.
So you talked about blogs, and I know attorneys' time is very valuable to them. How important is blogging, in your opinion?
Yeah, blogging is the most important thing right now. And here's a couple reasons why. From a technical aspect, a blog helps generate traffic. So 80% of websites, is my guesstimate, out on the internet don't generate traffic. 80%. And generating traffic just means that it's generating people to the site or to your blog. So if majority of websites don't generate traffic, they're still stuck in this, I want to call it Web 1.0. Now, I'm going to get a little technical here. So,
go for it. Just go. We got smart people watching this.
Okay, I'm going to be as non-technical as I can, but we're going through a shift right now. Mm-hmm. And you have Web 1.0, which is basically you put up a website and it's like a brochure. It's like, hey, this is me. This is what I do. This is contact us here. This is some testimonials. Call us if you have a question. So that's Web 1.0. Web 2.0 is you're actually engaging. It's the technology behind Facebook. It's the technology behind Twitter. It's the technology behind LinkedIn. This is Web 2.0 because now it provides a channel to interact and engage real time. So see, the Web 1.0 didn't allow that. So this Web 2.0 is still in its infancy stage. And so Web 2.0 allows this interaction, which is very exciting. And so that's kind of what's happened. And blogging is important because blogging is you're putting out a post or a newsletter or some type of content that is creating conversation.
Right.
And that conversation is what social media is all about. It's creating that conversation.
So we've got LinkedIn, we've got blogging, we've got Twitter. Are there any other social network sites that you think attorneys use?
I think attorneys might be interested in video because, and I'm stepping into the client side of, if I'm considering a new attorney and I pull up a website and I'm looking at their website and they have a blog and they're giving me tips on, let's say,
like the tips on how to manage your employees so you don't get sued.
yeah, something like that. That's definitely something, to look at. And so when I'm reading this, then they might have a video testimonial of some clients, right? Because if you look at these, what are they doing on TV, right? They have people saying, oh yeah, I got a DUI and, I came to this law firm and they helped me out, right? That's what we see on TV, right? So when we get on the website, we want to have maybe some video testimonials
And
of
attorneys,
some clients, right? Because video is very powerful. And people are they might see a testimonial, but now they're like, well, they could have just wrote that themselves. People are very skeptical online, very skeptical, And if you go to a website and you have a video testimonial of one of your clients saying, hey, you know what, I worked with this attorney here, Bob, and he did a great job for me, and you're putting that on your website, now you're adding to your credibility.
right.
So the more credible you become online, the more credible you become in the offline world, and it all ties together as part of your marketing.
And I know that was a very simple example, and many attorneys shy away from that type of marketing or advertising. But at the same time, I believe that if attorneys really thinking, and they've got some smart marketing people in their company, they could create video to add value for their clients without putting themselves out as call Bob because he's great with DUIs, as opposed to perhaps some education, like you say, the free education.
Yeah.
An attorney can say, these are some things to watch out for because my clients are calling me and this is causing trouble and call me if you need more information.
And I want to mention, and those are some really good points because attorneys now need to be thinking outside the box a little bit because I don't know, some attorneys might be busier than heck right now, but a lot of attorneys are doing traditional types of marketing, which is telemarketing, which is direct mail, which is advertising in maybe some magazines. And believe it or not, this is producing diminishing returns. So the concept of the definition of insanity is doing things over and over and over again, expecting different results. So if you've been doing these things for all these years and it's producing diminishing results, then my question to you is, why are you still doing these types of marketing tactics, right? And this doesn't just apply to attorneys, this applies to all areas in business. And by using these new media tools, is what they are, they're tools, you can actually start to develop your authority and in the industry and really just get back to business basics of doing business and developing relationships, which in turn can create new business for you.
And I'm thinking also when you look at expert witnesses, this is a different subject, but their credibility, their demeanor on camera is very important to attorneys when choosing an expert witness. I would think that'd be another avenue and another way of experts to get more business. And obviously it's a different sector of law, but it's something I'm thinking about because that's exactly right. It's about education, it's about credibility, and having authority.
Yep. And word of mouth too. Word of mouth travels very far, not only in the offline world, because we all associate with people in the offline world, right? We all have groups, networking groups, soccer groups, everything, and people that we associate with in the offline world. But in the online world, this word of mouth travels very far as well. So think of how powerful it would be if, for example, I drive an Infiniti. So if I go on my blog and I write about my customer experience at Infiniti dealership, that's very powerful. That word of mouth.
Why? Is it because you're authentic?
Well,
You're
not
not
only
being paid to do it?
No, well, see, that's where we're kind of crossing the line of, and this is kind of my prediction of the future, but my prediction is what's going to be happening is as we develop these networks online and we have thousands of friends that we're connected with online, right? We then have what's called social influence. I call it social influence because now I have influence over friends of mine. So if I talk about my experience with Infiniti and I really love the car, I'm passionate about Infiniti, right? And I talk to my friends about that, that might persuade buying decisions.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
Why wouldn't it?
And so that word of mouth online, right, is really starting to, business people are starting to really come to the realization that, hey, we need to start participating because all these people are going to be brand ambassadors for us.
What a great phrase, brand ambassador.
Yeah, brand
Love
ambassadors. My VP, Keith, is to thank on that one. He came up with that, brand ambassador. So it's really, we're going through this shift, and I know it's a lot to comprehend, but just understand that if you're a lawyer and you're just getting involved in social media, understand that you're going to have to start developing your social capital, is what I call it. Just like you have capital, right, cash, you're developing your social capital because that is, that is influential. It has high influence, and they even have measuring tools, right? This is crazy. They can measure on Twitter your social influence. So if a company, let's say I'm Infiniti, right? If Infiniti goes and measures my social influence of my Twitter account, then they can contact me possibly and say, which Infiniti, by all means, they can actually contact me and say, hey, would you mind sending a tweet to your network about your experience with Infiniti? And I'm all for that. And this is how you monetize. I'm all for that as long as you're 100% full disclosure.
Transparent.
Disclosing that, hey, I am writing this post because Infiniti asked me to, and here's my opinion.
I like that.
And there's a guy, Ted Murphy. He is an outside-the-box thinking entrepreneur like myself, and he's already got a lot of companies like Kmart, Target, some big names that actually use his network of bloggers to write reviews, and they fully disclose what they're doing. But Ted Murphy is making money from these companies, and he's paying the bloggers. And he's paying the bloggers to write reviews.
Wow!
And it's fully disclosed.
And I think that's key, because no one wants to be. You don't want to be telling your friends something because you're being paid to tell them.
Exactly.
So if you're transparent, I love your pay it forward philosophy with Twitter, and I believe you do that also with LinkedIn and with your blogging. Those, I believe, give people a sense of a reason to send out Twitters. I always liken it to if you're going to send out information that your followers need to know to help them.
Yes, you're helping. You hit the nail on the head.
Right.
All you're doing is you're helping. And that's what the pay it forward approach. I don't know if anyone's seen the movie Pay It Forward, but what you're doing with Pay It Forward is you're basically helping others. Because it's all about the community. It's all about the community, and especially during tough economic times, which we're in right now. We're all suffering, right? But that's when the network and the community has to become very powerful, which is what happened. And that's the magic of Twitter, is everyone's helping each other. I had at one point, hundreds of people giving me free advice, free business advice, free coaching. And they didn't expect a penny for it. because it's all about helping each other out.
Right.
And that's what social networking is about.
I love it.
And that's what Pay It Forward is about. And if you're a legal person that's, thinking this is all hogwash and, oh, you don't want to do free consulting, man, I can probably add up all the free consulting I've done in my business consulting career, and it's in the $40,000 range, of free consulting that I've given over the last 10 years. So that's kind of my
Your philosophy.
my equity. I'm investing my sweat equity. I'm building my equity by, giving free advice. But at the same time, I charge for other consulting services. So,
and I'm curious, what is your business model? How do you make, just in our French, how do you make money?
Well, most of the way we make money is by consulting businesses and helping them develop a strategy, develop a plan, a social media plan around their products and services, implementing the plan, the technology, the system. We're really implementing a system for their business, tailored around their business model. And then we're training the employees at the firms how to use these tools in a business development manner.
Wow.
And then we're monitoring things and measuring our results. So it's very comprehensive, it's very holistic.
And you can measure results?
Yes, you can measure ROI, just like let's say you do a direct mail campaign, right? Okay, it costs, $10,000 to do a direct mail campaign, and your return is what, 1%, 2%, right? Well, the same with social media is you develop a social media campaign. Let's say you invest $10,000, and you might get 5% or 10% of people who sign up, which is a lot better than 1 or 2%, right? So that's how it translates, and you measure that ROI. What's my return on investment? And you start small, and really measure your results and listen to your audience, so listen to feedback. And then, and we're not saying take your entire advertising budget and marketing budget and put it online. All we're saying is start with a fraction. But I can tell you right now that there's companies who have taken their entire marketing budgets. I think it's Southern Comfort, the beverage, alcoholic beverage, Southern Comfort. I read an article that they put their entire advertising and marketing budget online, 100%.
Wow.
Just like that. Switch to social media. And so it's happening. But what I suggest for companies is start small. That's how we got started in social networking San Diego, is companies would start very small with us. They'd try us out for a small campaign. We'd show them results. We'd sell out a venue. We'd fill 50 seats for them, or we'd sell a product for them, or we'd get a huge response. And then, they were believers.
So what would you suggest if you were going to give an attorney advice who's done nothing with social networking? What would be a first action step that they could take to get involved?
Well, the first action step I would say is sign up for my coaching program at socialnetworkingbusinesskit.com. I have a coaching program that I've launched, and this actually gives them access to free training videos to get started.
How long is this? Is it a series of videos or?
Yeah, it's going to be about 8 different videos, and they can watch them at their pace.
Okay.
And, this is a good foundation for them to get involved in social media, because believe it or not, there's a psychological shift that's occurring. So that would be the first thing. The second thing would be to sign up on one of these tools like Twitter or LinkedIn and just start listening. That's my first word of advice, is start listening and find out where your clients are going. And ask your clients when they come in, hey, are you on Facebook? Let's connect. Or, hey, are you on LinkedIn? Let's connect. Because you want to connect with your clients in as many different avenues as you can, not only offline but online, right? So for example, you get a business card at a networking event as an attorney, you exchange business cards. Well, you're doing the same thing online, is you're exchanging their business card online, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's Plaxo or Twitter or Facebook. You're connecting with them in another medium, because then you have a way to communicate with your client.
And what I'm doing is with Twitter, I'm starting to follow some of my clients. There are only a handful of the law firms I've found that are tweeting. But following them is educating me about what they're interested in, what they believe their clients are interested in. And I think that's been a good action step for me, to start really understanding the psyche of my client.
Yes, that's very important. You touched on something really, really big. Is just, now you can actually see what your clients are talking about, and you can interrupt that conversation and say, "Hey, it's Rosalie. I really liked the article that you published or the tweet that you sent out. This might be of additional help for you."
Exactly.
Well, all of a sudden, you're using it as a customer service tool, and they're taken back by it at first, right? That's the way social networking works. Is like they're like, "Whoa, Rosalie just wants to help me.
Right.
She's not charging me. What's going on here?" You know what I mean? That's what happens. That's the buying decision making that occurs. So if you just use, and here's a business example for you, case study of Twitter, Comcast, which is a big telecommunications company. What Comcast did last year was they set up a Twitter account and used it for customer service. So a lot of people were canceling their service, their internet service or their phone service or TV, and by having this Twitter account as a customer service tool, it actually prevented a lot of people from canceling, because then the customer service person that was using Twitter was answering questions, was preventing disconnects. So that saved them a ton of money. So think of all the money that saved by using Twitter as a customer service tool. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I'm just curious how they got the customers to join Twitter and to engage.
Well, because we've become a very technically savvy, we're all savvy on the internet now, hopefully. And, that's where Comcast customers are, is they're on Twitter.
That makes sense.
And they're on the internet.
Right.
And so if you're on top of mind, it's all about being on top of mind, right? So if you're on top of mind on these networks where people are, because, there's 200 something million people on Facebook now, and there's, a lot of people on
How many people on Facebook?
It makes up its own country. Its own country. It's like if Facebook were a country, it'd be like one of the third or fourth largest countries.
Wow.
That's how many people are on Facebook, and this is globally.
Right.
So maybe you're an attorney and you're trying to expand your practice into different countries. Social networking is a good place to start. And I have connections and friends and business relationships that I've been able to connect with globally now, which I didn't have that before.
So exciting.
So.
Wow. Well, Justin R. French, and the reason I say Justin R. French is because that is what his Twitter name is. I think you can find him there. And I believe there are other Justin Frenches in the world. So Justin R. French is how we find the brilliant Justin R. French who's sitting here with us today.
Thank you,
And
Rosalie.
I just want to say thank you. Social networking, I'm figuring it out. It's taking me a while. I love it. I believe part of it is my personality. I love communicating, I love people, and I love it to be quick and fast. I don't have time for lots of long phone calls, with all due respect. To me, it's exciting. I control the time that I do my social networking. I control what I say. I control the information that I'm sending out, and I love the idea of trying to help people and pay it forward. Any other comments, Justin, our friend?
Yeah, just some last minute tips for the attorneys out there. Just if you can spend about 10 minutes a day, finding out more about social networking for business. And maybe subscribe to our blog, or I'm sure...
Where's your blog?
It's if you go to socialnetworkingsandiego.com and you click on blog, you can actually subscribe to our blog, and that's where I put out a lot of good information on social networking for business.
And I know there are a lot of novices here, so when they subscribe, do they have to pay, or is it free?
It's free.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, and
keep going.
if you don't know how to subscribe to a blog, you might want to sign up on our coaching program, because we do express the importance on how to subscribe to a blog. So that would be a tip for the attorneys, is just, spend 10 minutes a day educating yourself. Just 10 minutes a day. Just start with that, and just start reading these blogs. And every time you do a search for some type of legal practice like business law, you're gonna 9 times out of 10 you find a blog now. You don't find a website anymore. You find a blog, which is a website, but I mean, you get the idea. And also, I just want to also put out there that I have a resource that is on socialnetworkingsandiego.com. It's actually a downloadable ebook, and it's a social networking and social media for business survival guide.
Perfect.
For only, it used to be $19.95. We dropped it down to $9.95.
What
So
a deal.
it'll be the best $10 you spend, I guarantee it. So that should get you started as well. Read it at your own pace. It's very valuable, good information. I talk a lot about the journey of social networking and social media for business purposes over the course of a year, and it's just a good resource.
Excellent.
So
Well, I'm super thankful that you're here.
Yeah, thanks
and
again,
I got to finally get to
Rosalie.
meet you.
yeah, you too. It's funny because we've been, communicating, developing this relationship on
Yeah.
Twitter and online, and it's kind of the opposite approach to what typically people do is they meet in person first, and then they network online. But we actually had the privilege to network online and then meet in person.
Yeah,
So
and
it's the worlds are colliding, everyone. The worlds are colliding.
I was so excited
So.
to meet Justin, our French, today. So thank you so much.
Okay, everyone, take care. Thanks.